Okay, good evening. I'd like to call the November 12th, 2024 Planning Commission regular meeting to order. The Planning Commission is holding hybrid meetings. Members of the public can attend the meeting in person or observe the meeting on Zoom online by visiting www.cityofarcata.org and following the live meetings link at the bottom of the city's homepage or on the city's YouTube channel. If you are attending remotely, please be aware that the Zoom feed provides the closest to real-time stream. If you rely on the other feeds and you wish to make comments, please be aware of the time lag on those feeds. The first item on our agenda is the land acknowledgement. The City of Arcata acknowledges that the land we are located on are the unceded ancestral lands of the Wiyot tribe. The land that Arcata rests on is known in the Wiyot language as Gudene, meaning over in the woods or among the redwoods. Past actions by local, state, and federal governments remove the Wiyot and other indigenous peoples from the land and threaten to destroy their cultural practices. The City of Arcata acknowledges the Wiyot community, their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. This acknowledgement seeks to aid in dismantling the legacy narratives of settler colonialism. Staff, will you please call roll?
Yeah, absolutely. Commissioner Strickland?
Here.
Commissioner Lehman?
Here.
Commissioner Tagney?
Here.
So used to saying vice chair, I almost said that again. And Vice Chair, Acting Chair Simmons.
Here.
And I'll note for the record that Chair Davies and our newest commissioner are both absent today.
And I will note that we are joined by Community Development Director David Loya. Next on our agenda, we have oral communications. During this time, people may make comments about items that are not on the agenda. If you wish to speak on one of our agenda items, you will have an opportunity when we are discussing those items. If you have comments about items that are not listed on our agenda today, please line up now behind the lectern. If you are on Zoom and you wish to make comments on matters that are not on today's agenda, please raise your hand by selecting the raise hand icon on the right side of your screen or by pressing *9 on your phone. The clerk will unmute you when it is your turn to speak. With that, I'd like to open public comment. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to comment during early oral communications. Feel free to state your name for the record. May we have the first speaker, please? I'm not seeing anyone in the room. Do we have online speakers?
We do have people joining us online, but nobody's indicating they wish to speak at this time.
Okay. Next, we will move on to the consent calendar. We have one item on consent. That is approving Planning Commission meetings from the regular meeting held on September 24th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. Would any commissioner like to pull the item, or do we have a motion?
I move we approve.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, next on our agenda will be public hearings, but we have no public hearings tonight. And next on our agenda after that is business items. And our one business item is to consider adopting the 2024 Planning Commission Annual Report and authorize the chair to present the report to council. Can we begin with a staff report, please?
Good evening, commissioners. The report was, again, as per usual, prepared by staff, but this is your Planning Commission report, and so you should feel free to make any changes that you feel are necessary. Certainly, if you found any errors, we can correct those, and also any changes that you'd like to see that are more substantive, feel free to make those as well. Just real quickly, the structure of this is somewhat dictated by the municipal code. We try and answer all the requirements that the Planning Commission is intended to report on to the City Council as its quasi-judicial body. We focused on some of the key areas that I think were important to the Commission in the past, identifying both the 2024 accomplishments and then immediately adjacent to that, the goals for next year in this report as we did last year. So happy to answer any questions and feel free to make any edits.
Thanks. Are there any questions from my fellow commissioners?
I would just like to make a suggestion to our training goals, so that's under number 7. And the training that's specifically mentioned is coastal planning, adaptation planning, and climate change. Those are important, but I would like to add housing to that. I think housing is going to be one of our important challenges going forward, and I'd like to know as much as I can about new housing laws and how they apply to the city.
I think that's a great idea. Should we just tell you that we should add housing as a, yeah. Any other suggestions, commissioners?
None for me.
Yeah, I thought it was a really well-written report that accurately summarized last year and most of my goals for next year. Were you able to speak to Chair Davies about giving the presentation to City Council?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Were you able to speak to Chair Davies about giving the presentation? Because we're sort of assigning work to Chair Davies.
Right, yeah, so, excuse me, yeah, you can just appoint the chair to make the presentation. Presentation will be at the first meeting in January, which they'll be skipping their actual first scheduled meeting. It'll be January 15th is when you'll present.
Great. Well, feels like we moved through this very quickly, but I mean, if anyone else has anything else, I'm okay. Do you need a motion from us?
Yeah, motion to adopt the annual report and to appoint Scott to deliver it on January 15th to the City Council, rather.
I move we adopt this report with a small change, and
You know what? We didn't take public comment on this item. So yeah, we're opening it for public comment. No one's in the room. Is anyone online?
We still do have a couple of folks online. No one's indicating they wish to speak on this agenda item.
Okay, just for folks online, this will be your last chance to give public comment at this meeting. Okay, wanted to make sure. Okay, Peter, I interrupted you.
no problem. I move we accept the report with the small change we made and assign Chair Davies to give the report to the City Council on their meeting on January 15th.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, well, that concludes our one business item. Are there any so that we move on to correspondence and communications, do we have any correspondence from planning commissioners?
The question at this time of year is always about the holiday overlap with our meetings, and I don't know if we want to discuss that at this point.
Yeah, the next November and the second December Planning Commission meetings are kind of in question. Certainly the one in November is, it's during Thanksgiving week, so we typically cancel that one.
Do we need a motion to cancel that, or can we just assume that it's canceled?
Typically, the meetings can be canceled by the chair, but since you're all here, we don't necessarily have it on the agenda, so, we can't take an action on it, but I will, state for the record that Chair and I have been in discussions about canceling that meeting.
And then the one that's towards the Christmas holiday?
Yeah, the one that's second meeting in December is on, it's actually on the 24th, and so that one will be canceled as well.
Sounds good. Thank you. I have nothing else.
Do you have any correspondence, staff?
Nope.
Okay, with that, there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Record time.